So this is going to be an addendum to the plasma-induced psychosis or cognitive dissonance. This is Chase Hughes, a professional psychological operations guy who explains how some of it works, and I'm just going to listen to some of his thoughts. This relates to people's cognitive dissonance where they're saying trees don't burn in forest fires and following the blue herring of blue things that don't burn.
Corrupt. Number 9 is huge. It's the red herring. So this distracts people with irrelevant information. You've heard this maybe as an example when somebody says, why are we worrying about climate change when we have so much crime going on right now? It's an argument of distraction. So why does it work? Well, first off, it really crawls under our brain skin. So when we face any kind of dissonance, it's like an itch that we have to scratch. We can't stop it. So we're driven from the inside to resolve any kind of inconsistency that comes up, which can lead to very real and very lasting changes in behavior. As an example, if a self-proclaimed environmentalist learns that their favorite brand that they support is like polluting heavily in Africa somewhere and dumping oil into a big dirt hole, the internal conflict can either push them to switch brands, like I'm going to go support another brand and admit I was wrong, or a lot easier, just adopt stupid ideas that make them continue to feel like they're right, which is a lot more likely. We like to see ourselves as consistent beings, and cognitive dissonance, especially when we use it, is weaponizing this. We're messing with this need to be consistent. So when reality smacks into belief, you just jiggle your thoughts around a little bit until everything falls into place. And if the jigsaw puzzle pieces don't go together, you just get a hammer, and then they do. That's what is going on right there. And this is like when you're so deep in, instead of questioning your choices, you go all in. And psychologically, it's way easier to boost your existing belief than rewrite how you view the entire world. So let me to write. They face facts. They ignore facts. They discredit new information that doesn't align with their belief. They find all the comfort in the world in these echo chambers. And even more so, they become even evangelistic, and they spread their beliefs even further, trying to convince others and themselves secretly that they're right. So if I become an evangelist, I'm going to convince myself, because of how loud I am, that these beliefs have to be right. If they encounter real evidence or arguments that starkly contrast with their own views, like scientific studies or statistical data, this sets up a clash. So the discomfort they feel is that cognitive dissonance. And our goal is to reduce discomfort. That's our body's goal, our brain's goal. How do I reduce discomfort? So to bring that down, people have a few options. Number one, they can change their beliefs, which is very hard. Two, I can distort the new information, which means that I can misinterpret or question its validity, or I can reject the new information completely. And more often than not, it's easier to distort or reject the conflicting information than to overhaul our own personal beliefs that are tied to our identity and our worldview. Why would a rational person with an IQ over 70 completely ignore facts, actual provable facts and logic? Well, the first reason is identity protection. So for a lot of people, especially on the extreme ends, these political beliefs are deeply tied to their sense of people especially on the extreme ends. These political beliefs are deeply tied to their sense of self. So if I'm in that camp and I admit that those beliefs might be wrong or misguided, that threatens my entire self-concept and my social standing within my community. It's a huge threat on multiple Maslow levels. So this makes it psychologically safer to just dismiss or rationalize away anything that conflicts with what I've been presented with. And sometimes when people are presented with literal factual information that challenge their beliefs, not only do they reject the information, but they also believe in their original incorrect views more strongly afterward. More strongly. This is true. And this is known as the backfire effect. This is where the efforts to correct misinformation actually reinforce the misinformation in the person's mind. Just think about flat earthers. NASA puts out a video like, here's our video from the ISS showing that the earth is round. And they're like, yeah, they want you to think that. So like, no matter what you do, it's just making their beliefs even stronger. So the attempt.
This is all a pretty good description of what Static in the Attic is doing, disregarding the facts that trees do burn in forest fires, even the very fire in LA that he's referring to, where the trees are not burned in between houses where they're near houses and cars. You get 100 yards away from any houses and cars, and there's plenty of trees that are burning, but he dismisses those facts in order to hold on to his self-image and worldview and engages in this cognitive dissonance. And regarding the last part of that video, plasma-induced cognitive dissonance, the part about childhood's end.
Century we've ever had. So I don't know how we get out of this, but it feels like it has to be a much more individual kind of.
Maybe we need a common enemy from the outside.
No, that doesn't seem really good or charismatic at all.
You think that there would be an enemy from within? There would be a fifth column, that there would be people taking their side?
Well, I think the right thing is
Scary, yeah?
the right thing is to look within.